What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ryan Pineda Show, where we talk all things business, entrepreneurship, and real estate. And today we are continuing our Guru series. In this series, we're analyzing different gurus and influencers. And this week's guru is Gary Vee. All right, so at this point, almost everyone should know who Gary Vee is. But if you don't feel bad, because I didn't really know who he was until a couple of years ago. It's funny because I was playing pro baseball and I did not pay attention to any of these influencers. I didn't watch YouTube, I wasn't really active on social media, so I really had no idea who all these guys were. And I had heard the name Gary Vee multiple times, but I never looked into who he actually was or what he did. But when I retired from baseball in 2017, I started going to different business seminars so I could get acclimated in that world. It wasn't enough to know who the top athletes were anymore. Now I needed to know who are the top influencers and business people that I can learn from and who I need to know. And I honestly don't even remember the seminar, but they gave us Gary Vee's book. And it was a book called Ask Gary Vee, where it was a bunch of his podcasts, I think, put together. I don't even really remember it that well, but it was a good book. I got acquainted with him and I said, this guy's pretty cool. Let me go check out his other books and let me check him out on YouTube. So I ended up buying a bunch of his books. I bought his book, Crush It. I bought his book, Crushing It. I bought his book, Jab, 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 Hook. I think that's how many jabs it is, but it's a bunch of jabs, and many of them are very repetitive. A lot of them preach the same message, which is the same message he preaches in all his YouTubes, his Instagrams, his TikToks. Pretty much it's always the same message. And that message is value. Create value, lead with value, 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 value. That's literally all his messages are about. And he was kind of the pioneer with, hey, let's give out as much value as possible completely for free. We're not gonna ask him for anything. We're not gonna say, hey, I gave you some value, now buy my product. It was strictly, let's give as much value as possible and not ask for anything. And in his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, he talks about that concept where, hey, you're just jabbing, you're jabbing, you're jabbing, giving value, giving value, giving value. And then when you do finally ask for something and give them that right hook, they are more than happy to buy because you have given them so much value, and it's just the least they could do is to support you and buy your product. And I know firsthand, that is how I have created my business. I was putting out value before I even knew who Gary Vee was. I was just sitting there getting my cell phone, making videos, talking about real estate. And this was when I was a small investor. I was just trying to share my journey and help people out along the way, because I knew how real estate changed my life, and I knew that it could change many other people's lives if I just shared my experiences. And so I did that for a couple of years without ever asking for anything. Now granted, it did actually lead to revenue. By me sharing my journey, I got plenty of referrals for people who needed to sell their house, and I would get a really good deal, I'd flip it and make good money. It also created other relationships with people who wanted to lend me money. It created relationships with real estate agents who knew who I was now, and they knew I was buying, so if they had a house that was a potential deal, they would send it my way. So it created value in many different ways without me ever specifically asking anyone to buy anything from me. After doing that for a few years, and after really building up my reputation and having more success, the first thing I did was write a book and create an online course. And the moment I wrote the book, I had all of my followers from all of those years buy it instantly. Without a doubt, they were buying it and they were promoting it for me because of all that value I had built up with them over the years. They were happy to support me on my new endeavor. And I was able to sell online courses without doing any ads or anything. It was just strictly word of mouth because people knew I was bringing value. And when I launched my coaching program, it was the same thing. I didn't have to run all of these ads because I already had people lined up ready to do it. They'd been asking me to coach them for years, but I just never wanted to do it because I didn't feel like I was ready, and I also didn't have the time. I was busy working on my businesses, and I needed to take care of that first before I was able to really step back from that and then take care of other people's businesses. But the point is, none of that would have worked had I started trying to do that in the beginning. If I wasn't giving any value and I was just strictly pushing people to buy products, it wouldn't work. And that's what most advertisers do. And Gary Vee flipped the switch on that. He said, don't ask for anything, lead with value, and you will succeed. And that's part of the reason I have this YouTube channel now. I want to just make as many great videos as I can for you guys not asking for anything, just leading with value. And if you guys choose to work with me in some type of way, great. But either way, I'm gonna lead with value and leave you with something. I got off on a little tangent there on how he's affected me, but the moral of the story is his approach has been what I've been naturally doing, and it just justified it for me. Now, the other reason Gary Vee is so successful is very similar to how Grant Cardone is successful. And if you missed my video about Grant Cardone, you could find it right here by clicking the link below. And the way he's doing it is he's drawing a lot of attention to himself by being very brash, being very blunt, not caring, not having a filter. He's taken the Cardone model very similar. And just like Cardone, there are a lot of people who love him and a lot of people who hate him for it. But in the end, like Cardone, he is a master at grabbing attention. He grabs your attention with his videos and he keeps you entertained and educated during that. And it's kind of funny because like Cardone, I've seen multiple videos where they both say they don't read books. People will ask him, what are your top favorite books? And they're both like, oh, I don't read books. And I think that's crazy because I try to read a book a week and I've learned so much of what I know from books. Gary, on the other hand, says he likes to just watch people. He likes to watch videos, see people's reactions, and that's how he decides how he wants to make moves. And obviously, who can argue with that? They both are very successful and they don't read any books, so maybe I shouldn't read books, I don't know. The other thing that makes Gary Vee well known is that he is kind of the social media guru. He is the expert on all the different platforms, what kind of content to post, how long, how often, all of these things with all these different platforms. And I can tell you, as someone who tries to post on all of them, it's super hard. He has a whole big team that does it for him, but even then, it ain't easy coming up with content every single day and putting out all these posts every day. One of his big pushes for about the last year has been everyone needs to get on TikTok. And like many other people, I said, why would I want to get on TikTok? It's a bunch of kids, they're not interested in real estate investing, what can they do? So I never did it. And it was mainly because I didn't understand how undervalued the platform was for gaining attention. It's tough to stand out on Instagram now. There's just so many people on it, it's hard to get seen, it's hard for new people to break through. YouTube is very much the same way. There's so many videos, there's already a ton of influencers. To get seen and to get your video out there isn't the easiest thing. So let me just say, for this being a newer channel, I'm very, very happy and thankful for all of you guys watching this video. And if you're enjoying this video, make sure you go and hit the like button so that more people can go and see it. But anyways, back to TikTok. I finally got on it during the pandemic. I was at home, I said, you know what, why not? I'll go dance around and make some videos. And now that I've been doing it, all I can say is I wish I would have taken his advice a year ago when he first started talking about it. I've got more followers on TikTok than I have on all my other platforms combined in a fraction of the time, because gaining attention on TikTok is very easy right now. And that was Gary's whole point, is that you want to go on platforms that are undervalued. We want to buy houses that are undervalued. We want assets that are undervalued so that we can make money. TikTok is that way. The attention is undervalued and it's much easier to get than it is on YouTube or Instagram. And now that I've personally experienced it, I am listening to Gary Vee much more closely now because he's right. So Gary, if you're watching this, thank you for putting that out there. I finally listened and got a TikTok. The last thing I'll say about Gary that I find very fascinating is that his life dream is to own the New York Jets. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone else saying that their dream is to own a sports team. Growing up, my dream was to go play in the big leagues and make millions of dollars and be an all-star and do all that. I got to the minor leagues and I got to play pro baseball that way for a long time, but I didn't quite achieve my dream. But now Gary's given me new hope that, hey, maybe I should try and go own a baseball team. That's a very lofty goal. I don't know if I want to make it my life's work. I know Gary refers to it many times in his interview that that's literally what fuels him every day. It's a dream so big that he knows he has to just work and grind and keep doing what he's doing every single day to get closer to that dream. And I think that's awesome. But I also don't think I want to own a baseball team that bad, so I don't think it's gonna fuel me like it fuels Gary. But nonetheless, I think it is an awesome lesson that, hey, you need a dream that is so big that it just pushes you every day to go work harder and to achieve more. The last thing I'll bring up about Gary that I love is that he is a big advocate for just getting out there and posting on social media. I have seen the effects of social media on my business and my life and how much more revenue it brings us by being active on social media, but also how many people we're actually able to impact because of social media. Because people know who we are, we're able to do and create so much more. And I know it's scary for a lot of people to post on social media because you will be judged, your content probably will suck starting out, but you gotta go through that period in order to create better content and to help people and to grow your business. And Gary has been beating that drum forever that you just need to get out and post. Post as much as you can. The more you're out out there, even if it's bad content, the better. The more eyeballs on you, great. You're also gonna get practice by posting more. It's a win-win situation. So I totally agree with him. If you guys are on the fence about posting and creating content, make sure you go and do it. Just take the leap of faith. It's scary, but you guys can do it. Overall, I think Gary Vee's a great guy. I'm very curious to see what he says is gonna happen in the future. I'm gonna be watching him so that I can be ahead of the curve this time and actually take his advice, and I hope you guys do too. If you guys have liked this video, make sure you go and hit the like button. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you get notified every single time I release a new video. Also, go and follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I'm very active on those platforms daily. We've got behind the scenes of what goes on in my life and my business. You guys are gonna love it. And I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Take care.